Hey guys, how you doing? Luna here with a new video. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a really interesting topic. We're talking about songwriting, guys. The main reason for that is that a few weeks ago I uploaded a video to this channel comparing Elvis Presley to the solo discographies of John Lennon and Paul McCartney, and let's just say that a lot of you guys had some things to say in the comment section. Most of the things you guys were saying were about songwriting, how John Lennon and Paul McCartney are known as some of the greatest songwriters of all time due to their work with the Beatles and in their own solo discographies as well. And Elvis Presley, on the other hand, is famously known for not writing a single song in his entire 20 plus years of career. And while I said multiple times responding to these comments that in my opinion it's a valid point, however, I think that adding songwriting to your metrics when it comes to comparing artists is a bad move. Basically, you're gonna find yourself in awkward situations where you have to put Ed Sheeran or Post Malone above Elvis as overall artists because they write their music and Elvis didn't. That is the main reason why I don't talk about it in my videos. For me, super important, of course, you know, the birth of the song starts at the songwriting. You're creating the song when you're writing it. So obviously I think it's a really big part of it. It's awesome when an artist is able to write their music, perform their music, and in the case of Paul McCartney, in albums like McCartney and Ram, produce the music. But honestly, it kind of breaks the point of the video if one of them writes their own music and the other one doesn't, even if their legacy and their influence and impact and popularity are on the same level. For example, would you say that Leonard Cohen, you know, someone famously known for being a great songwriter and a poet as well, but really low in terms of performance, is better than Elvis just because he created the songs that he performed, even if he performed them in not the best way possible? Because based on the metrics that a lot of you guys were using in the comment section, the answer would be yes, Leonard Cohen is better than Elvis Presley. But obviously we don't really think that, right? Another way to see it is separating the music industry in a lot of different categories, putting the people that only perform in one category, putting the people that only write the music in one category, and putting the people that do kind of everything in another category. But that would honestly just be really stupid, because the way that songwriting credits work, especially in the modern scene of music, is very, very misleading. You know, only because you see your favorite artist in the songwriting credits of the song, it doesn't really mean that they wrote the song. Sometimes they only changed a few chords, sometimes they only added a few details to the melody, sometimes they just changed a few words that they didn't like in the original lyrics that someone else made for them, you know, and that's the reason why they were listed as songwriters. They obviously had a contribution to the song, but it's very different from saying that he came up with the melody, structure of the song, composing the whole thing, choosing the types of instruments that you're gonna have on the song and when the instruments are gonna come in. All of these different things are part of the songwriting process. So you can't really credit someone as songwriters when they only added a few nicks to the whole thing. Obviously it varies depending on the genre. For example, if you're talking about folk music or rap music, for example, I think that songwriting is super important. You know, I believe that those two genres are based on narrative. You know, maybe folk music is also based a little bit more on melody, but rap music is all about narrative, all about sharing a story. So a rapper should be someone with the ability to express himself through the music, and if you can't do that, then you're not a good rapper. It's really easy to see when someone's not writing their own stuff. You know, you can tell, or you can feel, especially if you listen to a lot of music like I do, that there's a connection between the rap and the rapper, and you see that in cases like Drake, for example, from an album like If You're In This Is Too Late to Views, the massive change of style he had. It's obvious that he was getting a lot of help to craft his R&B tunes and songs like Pop Style and Child's Play. You know, it's so uncharacteristic of who Drake was, and If You're Reading This Is Too Late, that there's obviously someone helping him out with the lyrics. The fact that he has this tough persona but never really shows it whenever he's outside of his songs is an obvious hint at the fact that he doesn't write his own music, even though he continues to deny it, but that's a case for another video completely. What I'm trying to say here is that writing your own music obviously creates a connection between the song and the artist that performs the song. However, you don't really need that in all cases, especially when it comes to genres like traditional pop music or vocal jazz in the case of Frank Sinatra. Obviously, he didn't write any of these songs, but well, he kind of did, and I'll get to that in a minute, but let's say he didn't write any of these songs and he wasn't involved in any of it. The definition or the scenarios that are painted in these songs are so vague and so open to interpretation that a lot of people can relate to them, which is is the main reason why these songs are so timeless, by the way. The fact that so many of us, even today, 60, 70 years after these songs were written, we can still relate to a lot of the things that these songs are saying. And obviously Frank Sinatra himself related to a lot of the things that the songs were saying, because he was so convincing in his performance of these songs that he created some of the greatest albums of all time, even though he didn't write any of these songs. Although he kind of did, which is the next point that I'm going to make. If the artist doesn't write his own music, but is heavily involved in the songwriting process, I believe this gap between artist and art that is created when you don't write your own stuff can get smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where it's unperceivable. That is the case, in my opinion, with artists like Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley, which is the main example I've used in this video because they're the most popular ones. You know, when you listen to Frank Sinatra sing Fly Me to the Moon, or That's Life, or My Way, or I've Got You Under My Skin, can you tell that he didn't write the music? I mean, he's so convincing, he's enjoying himself so much that it's almost a crime to say that you think that he doesn't have a chemistry with the songs. You know, he obviously does, and that is the reason why songwriting in that particular case isn't all that important. A better way to put it is that I don't think someone's legacy should suffer because they didn't write their own music. This is incredibly confusing, especially when it comes to bands, for example, where a lot of the Rolling Stones material, some of your favorite songs, were probably not written by Mick Jagger but by Keith Richards, and still we're not taking credibility out of Mick Jagger as an artist overall just because Keith wrote most of the songs. Actually, a lot of people don't even know that he was the main songwriter of the band. You know, obviously Mick Jagger wrote songs too, I'm not saying he didn't, but the main one, you know, the guy that was the heavyweight when it comes to the songwriting was Keith Richards. And still, Mick Jagger is a legend, and you shouldn't believe anyone who says otherwise, you know, because he was connected to these songs, because he performed every song, like he gave birth to them, you know. And that is the main reason why when someone looks at an artist I like and say, well, they didn't write their music so they shouldn't have that much credit, I believe you should do a little more research. You know, you should listen to the songs, and if you feel that there's a connection, then you should not mind the fact that they don't write their music. You know, obviously if we're talking about the best songwriters, I wouldn't put Elvis Presley or Frank Sinatra or any of these other artists that didn't really write their own stuff. But if we're talking about legacy overall, if we're talking about discographies, I can't help but say that I love their albums even if they didn't write them, you know. So in my opinion, songwriting is super important. You know, it's the birth of the song. You can write a song and have no one perform it, but you cannot perform a song that doesn't exist. So based on that, I believe that it's incredibly important. Yes, but I don't think it's necessary for you to have a great legacy as an artist, you know. So if you have an artist out there that you really like, and there's people who clown that artist because they don't write their own stuff, unless we're talking about a rapper or a folk artist where the whole point of those genres is basically communicating your perspective and your feelings, and if those feelings belong to someone else, I don't know how that would work. I believe that if you find a connection in the music, you know, between art and artist, that's pretty much all you need to enjoy the songs. So yes, I think that songwriting is super important, but I don't believe it's necessary for an artist to have a great legacy. However, I want to know what you guys think about this whole thing. Do you think that songwriting is extremely necessary and any artist who doesn't write their own music don't really deserve all that much praise? Or do you believe that as long as the songs are good, as long as they were involved in the process, you know, as long as they performed the songs properly, they deserve all the credit in the world? Personally, what do you think? Who do you think would win? Elvis Presley or Paul McCartney and John Lennon in a battle between discographies, only considering their solo discographies? I don't talk about songwriting at all in that video, by the way, so if you're hoping to hear something about that, no, it's not gonna happen. That'll be it for today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other videos that I upload. If you guys want me to talk about any other topic, if you want me to check out an album, a song, or an artist, go ahead and leave it down below, and I'll make sure to fulfill requests as soon as I can. Once again, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that I can see you soon with a new video. But until then, bye.